What is going on, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central. My name is Fareed, and as a part of today's video, just like always, we're going to be breaking down all of the latest news and updates going on in Cardano. The very first topic I want to jump into is going to be about the Cardano Summit and the fact that the official app is now live in preparation for the Dubai experience, or the desert experience, taking place in Dubai from November 2nd through the 4th. Following that update, I want to talk a little bit about Atrium, which is going to be launched by one of the content creators within this space. And this is going to be a way to support multiple stake pool operators within the Cardano ecosystem with a single stake position. Following that, there's going to be an update surrounding some tokens that have popped up here within the ecosystem, which were unwarranted and basically trying to take advantage of the Cardano ecosystem, given the fact that some people here have built a reputation and people looking to launch tokens in their name in order to take advantage of liquidity and potential opportunities within the Cardano community. After that update, I want to talk briefly about Genius Yield, which has officially launched their alpha testnet for the first group, or their OGs, within their Discord. And then after that update, I want to talk about Dex Hunter, which has officially launched the first ever stop loss feature on Cardano. And then last but not least, I want to jump into updates surrounding Levvy Finance and the fact that this platform, which allows for you to borrow against your NFTs or just your Cardano native tokens, has now added an additional few projects that they're now going to be hosting on the platform. Now, if it's your first time stopping by the channel, my goal is to provide you in the Cardano community with the latest news updates and tutorials surrounding the top builders in the ecosystem. If you'd like to support me on my mission to educate the broader Cardano community, then consider delegating with the official Dapp Central stake pool, which is stake pool ticker DAPP. That said, let's go ahead and jump straight into the very first topic for today's video, which is going to be surrounding the Cardano Summit. Now, as I mentioned, this will be taking place in Dubai, and I recently talked about the fact that the NFT tickets for any of the participating or host cities are now available. So whether you're attending within the United States or North America, South America, the Asian region, or even the continent of Africa, you can go ahead and actually get your NFT ticket for the host location or host cities minted using NMaker or by filling out the registration form prior to the event taking place. Now, on the heels of that announcement, we have the official Cardano Summit 23 app, which is now available, and it states that this is going to be your all access pass to watch live streams, unlock on-demand content, and just everything about the networking event taking place in Dubai. If I'm not mistaken, we're also expecting some live streams coming in from the Cardano Spot, which is also a hub for Cardano content, as well as just the Cardano community overall. Now, this app is available both on Apple as well as on Google or Android. So I'll leave the link to both of those platforms down below as a part of today's video description. Jumping into the next topic for today's Cardano Scoop, I want to touch on the Cardano Foundation and a recent announcement surrounding them changing their delegation strategy. Now, for those of you who are not aware, single stake pool operators right now are able to sign up, I believe it's once every 3 months, in order to potentially get selected for delegation or help from the Cardano Foundation. Now, they've got multiple wallets. I believe it's about 14 to 15. I could actually be wrong. There may be even more, but they all hold, I believe, anywhere between 10 to 15 million ADA. And those are basically cycled around the community and provided to different stake pool operators on that quarterly basis. Now, what they're going to be doing is changing their delegation strategy, and they're going to be changing the following. Number 1, the duration. Number 2, the packages or the amount of ADA. Number 3, the criteria to actually be involved or included as a part of their short list. Number 4, the selection process. Number 5, their expectations. And then number 6, the entire application process. Now, jumping over into the forum for Cardano, which is available at forum.cardano.org, it breaks down all of the different updates that I just mentioned there on their tweet. So with respect to number 1, or the delegation duration, as I mentioned before, they used to be delegations or rounds for 3 months, and they're now going to be extending that to a whopping 12-month or a 1-year period. So you could imagine that if you're a winner of the CF delegation, that you're going to be able to get that delegation for a year. And if that's going to be upwards of 20 plus million ADA, that could have a tremendous impact on the actual pool, and not just for the SPO, but also for decentralization and anybody who delegates to that particular pool. So that's the first update. Now, it states that with respect to that, an extended delegation period will benefit operators, allowing them to really focus on their contribution. Number 2 is going to be the delegation packages. So the CF or Cardano Foundation will reduce the number of pools that they delegate to, which will increase the size of the packages. So instead of delegating 15 to 20 million ADA across 15 to 20 different stake pools, they're going to be delegating more ADA to less pools. So again, really kind of concentrating the actual delegations that they're going to be providing to the community. Now it continues to read, this combined with extended delegation duration will help enhance the overall quality of all selections, plus allow pools to flourish and establish themselves more effectively. I think one thing that has come up out of this was that some pools were getting the delegation for 3 months, but they found that it wasn't enough to attract delegators and to really create a sustainability or a sustainable solution when it came to their actual stake pools. So while it was good for the short term, it wasn't necessarily the best option to bootstrap them and make them and put them in a position to where they wouldn't need an additional round of support from the CF. So we saw multiple pools actually getting multiple rounds of delegation. And again, I think because of that, they're now looking to do this for a much longer period, with the hopes that if they are able to bootstrap some of these pools for longer times, that they'll then be more sustainable once they do pull their delegation away or out of the pools following the 12-month period. Number 3 is going to be surrounding the delegation criteria, which states that they will now be removing the single stake pool requirement, which will ensure greater flexibility in their selection process. And this approach aims to bring in a more inclusive target audience. So when it comes to this is, I think, one of the key pieces that a lot of people were somewhat frustrated about. This isn't saying that they're going to be selecting multi-pool operators. It's just that they're now going to be eligible to be selected. Now, to that end, there's been a lot of smaller stake pools that, because they're not able to get so much stake, have actually decided to become MPOs or multi-pool operators. Again, leveraging what they can and some of the min pool costs in order to make things work for them particularly. So it's not that the CF is going to now also all of a sudden start targeting MPOs, but I could see why some people are frustrated, because again, they want some of this help to go to single stake pool operators. But I think there's also developers and super huge contributors to the Cardano network that do run multiple stake pools. Again, let me know what you guys think down below about that particular update. Scrolling down, we've got some updates surrounding the selection process. And so previously, I believe there was some sort of generated or randomness assigned to the actual selection process. But it now states that the team will now handpick pools based on the data and insights they've been gathering surrounding those options. This ensures that the delegation strategy is driven by experience and thorough understanding. So again, no longer leaving it up to luck when it comes to people getting selected. And this kind of worked in the community's favor, right? Maybe you didn't have a lot of contributions, but you signed up to get funding or support from the CF, and you could have gotten picked. But now it seems like the team will actually be picking themselves, as opposed to letting some sort of randomness play into the selection factor. Again, let me know what you guys think down below. Moving down with number 5, we've got expectations. So it states that we understand that the greater delegation may tempt pools to raise fees, and this is going to be after the fact when they actually get the delegation, right? They might want to raise their fees in order to be able to keep more of that revenue being generated by the additional ADA coming into their stake pools. However, it continues to read, we want to clarify that if pools increase cost or raise fees, we may withdraw our delegation. On top of that, we will also closely monitor pools and engage with them on a regular basis to understand how they're actively contributing to the ecosystem. So if they find that, you've made some contributions early on and they decide to stake with your pool, right? And then maybe 6 months later, you decide that things have changed, or you raise your fees, or you're just not contributing as much after they check in with you, they do reserve the right to pull out their stake or their delegation if they deem it necessary in order to do so. Now, last but not least, we've got some updates surrounding the application process. So as regular delegation rounds will be replaced with the extended delegation, they're going to be changing the application format to a single form. So I believe before it was a form with a couple different sections. It was pretty simple, actually, if I don't mistake, or if I'm not mistaken. but they're going to be changing that to a single form. So if you're a new pool or undertaking a novel initiative that you believe merits attention, you can now use, and they leave the link to the new form to submit your pool for consideration. Again, keep in mind that they'll be handpicking pools this time with no acts of randomness. So that is going to be it there for that particular update. Again, I think this has really started off a great conversation within the community. Some people are very for this update, and then some people seem to be very against the update. Again, I think the biggest piece there was the MPO allowing, or the allowing of MPOs to now be considered for the delegation. But again, keep in mind that they're going to be handpicking them. So even if a lot of MPOs do sign up, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're all going to be selected. It just lowers the barrier of entry and adds more exclusion for the entire Cardano community and SPOs, who really are the backbone of the network, to participate in the staking delegation or the staking support from the CF. That's going to wrap it up there for that update. Next, we're going to jump into some updates surrounding Atrium, which is going to be a brand new platform which is aiming to simplify staking on Cardano through the use of what they call staking baskets. So let me share my screen again here. And it states, are you a Cardano SPO or user? The smart contracts that the Atrium Lab has now written allow users to delegate to multiple stake pools all in one go or simultaneously. Now, I believe that this team was in attendance at the NFT Levvy event. And if I jump over into the next tab here, we've got some information surrounding their diffusion roadmap. So not only were they in attendance at NFT Levvy, they also were recently funded through Cardano's Project Catalyst in order to get their staking baskets off of the ground. One of the biggest things I think that come out of this is the decentralization aspect. So for example, imagine having 10 million ADA being split up amongst 50 different SPOs, as opposed to that same 10 million ADA being disposed or dispersed amongst just a couple of pools. So this really helps out with the decentralization aspect of Cardano. And I believe there's also going to be some additional rewards that may be actually coming from the Atrium protocol if you decide to use it in order to take advantage of their basket or diffusion features. So here we have phase 1 of their roadmap, which is going to be the launch of their dashboard alpha, which is now complete. As a part of phase 2, they're going to be going live on the preview network, which is also complete. And so I just want to take a minute here just to quickly highlight that if you are an SPO, that you can join them on the preview network right now to be included in their incentivized testnet. So you will be rewarded for actually participating right now if you are an SPO. Now, number 3, or phase number 3, will take advantage of their dashboard integration, and then the very last piece will be their incentivized testnet, which I actually believe again has kicked off, should be kicking off very, very soon. So that's going to wrap it up there for the updates surrounding Atrium, one that I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out on myself in the near future. But again, they're going to be bringing their baskets, which allows for you to delegate millions of ADA to tens of SPOs simultaneously. Soon they're going to be adding more ADA and additional SPOs. All right, jumping into the next update here, we've got some news surrounding some fake token sales taking place utilizing some key Cardano contributors' names. So one of them is going to be Ada Whale. If you guys are not familiar with Ada Whale and you're within the Cardano community, I would be highly surprised. But Ada Whale provides a ton of relevant information, a ton of exclusive insights, and just a huge supporter of the Cardano ecosystem in general. Now, what we saw was a post by an account that has actually now been deleted, which is great to see, which was actually highlighting or trying to raise awareness surrounding the sale of a token called Ada Whale. So using the Ada Whale contributor's name in the ecosystem to then turn around and then actually have a token sale. So this is a post from Marco Meerman, huge supporter here of the channel. I want to thank you, Marco, for always tuning in, who also tagged me on this post. So he states, run away from this as far as possible, no consent from Ada Whale, and abusing his integrity to steal money from the Cardano community. A desperate effort by desperate people to extract money, again, from the Cardano ecosystem. I couldn't agree more, especially right now in the bear market. A lot of people looking to extract liquidity. Whether or not they're doing that by actually building a product is a whole nother question, but this didn't seem to have any utility, and it also didn't actually seem to be vetted and approved by Ada Whale himself. So I'm not surprised that this particular account has actually now closed down and that the post has now been deleted. Now, this wasn't the only person that was targeted. We also saw Rick McCracken where we had a brand new Twitter account pop up out of nowhere, also highlighting and trying to bring exposure to a sale for the quote unquote Rick token. Again, Rick did not associate with this. He actually made a post about it saying that he did not want to have anything to do with it. But this is what we get when we're in a decentralized environment, right? We have the ability for people to create tokens at any time with no permissions or without the requirement of permissions from anybody else. And so we're going to tend to see these things continue to happen. And I personally don't think that this is going to be the last time we're going to see something like this take place within the Cardano ecosystem. So I always urge you guys to just exercise caution and just be aware of any token launches. Make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into, make sure you understand the utility, and make sure you're just aware of who's actually building and endorsing some of these projects or tokens taking launch here on the Cardano ecosystem. Now, as always, if you guys do enjoy these updates, I would appreciate you if you guys could tap that like button. Not only does it help me out here with the algorithm, it also lets the Cardano community get their timely news updates. And then again, if you guys do appreciate content like this, consider subscribing. And if you have other questions surrounding anything we're touching on as a part of today's video, then make sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below. Now, jumping into the next piece here, I want to quickly touch on the Genius Yield project. I did recently mention that their alpha was going to be taking place very soon, and we now have the official announcement. And this was posted on October 9th, where it reads the Genius Yield DEX Alpha Testnet is now live. Now, as a part of the registration for the alpha, you did have to be an OG holding one of their ISPO NFTs, which are available right now on secondary marketplaces such as jpeg.store. But it states that the selected registered testers have now received instructions to begin testing the application via email. I can say that I was lucky enough to be selected, and so I am currently testing it right now. Because I'm actually on the road, I'm not able to put together a fully dedicated tutorial, but I'll be having one coming out very soon once I do make it back to my regular location. So pretty brief update there surrounding the Genius Yield order book style DEX. Next, I want to jump into some updates surrounding the DEX Hunter protocol. So this was one of the other updates that I did mention in my prior Cardano scoops, but we now have the first ever stop loss orders on the Cardano network. For those of you who are not aware of what a stop loss is, it's basically a safety mechanism where you can basically set up a price point or a percentage loss that you're willing to incur before you close out your position. So if you think that a particular token might be having a downtrend or maybe going down in price very soon, it's probably wise to set up a stop loss in order to stop your exposure from additional loss, but also in order to mitigate any loss from any potential gains that you might have in a current position. So it works both ways, again, preventing you from losing any more while also protecting you or allowing you to protect any profits you may have made along the way. Now, on top of that, there are additional variations of stop losses. So for example, they have what is called a trailing stop loss, where if the price does move in your favor, if you're, for example, long, the actual stop loss amount will move as the actual price moves and as you make more profit. So really cool to see that we're just getting basic stop losses on Cardano, but it'd be really interesting to see if we get additional features, for example, like a trailing stop loss in the near future. Shout out to the DEX Hunter team. I believe they said that they now have more than 33% of all trades coming through their platform, which is a huge achievement. And if they keep at it with all these updates coming forward, I believe that they could potentially get to over half of all swaps taking place through their platform. I do want to quickly highlight that they did also partner up with Matera recently, and I'll be diving into that in other videos. If you're not familiar with Matera, they're going to be a decentralized index platform, and they're going to have their own indices, which are going to be made up of multiple tokens, and they're going to be partnering up with DEX Hunter in order to allow for people to quickly make purchases of more than one asset. The DEX Hunter platform is also going to be allowing for basket purchases, which is why they're going to be partnering up with the Matera protocol. Jumping into the very last story here for today's video, I want to quickly touch on Levvy Finance. So your favorite NFT collections are now joining the Levvy protocol. If you guys are not familiar with Levvy, I did cover them very recently, but they just released Levvy V 2.0, which now allows for lending and borrowing of Cardano native tokens or assets, very similar to platforms like LendFi, Fluid Tokens, and Lending Pond. Now, this is being built out by the Ape Society team, which actually started off as an NFT project, but they've now rebranded, and they're now building more than just the Ape Societies, or the Ape NFT collection, I should say, and their cabin. So they're now branching out. They've built out their own node. They've got their own in-house staking, and they now have Levvy Finance V2, which is going to be competing against some of the top DeFi protocols in the ecosystem. So as a part of Levvy V1, you had the ability to lend or borrow against your NFTs. And as a part of that, they're now going to be adding support for the following tokens or the following projects. Number one, Pavia, which is going to be a metaverse project. Number two, Goombles, developed by Farman Nash, which is also going to be a gaming / metaverse project. We've got the Derp Apes, which I believe is just an NFT project or a PFP style project, followed by the Equine NFT Pioneer Horses. And then we've got Makasi. We've got the Keyboard Warriors, and then the Unsigned Algorithm NFT collection. I believe that will take us here through today's updates. Again, I am on the road, so I've got to keep this as short and concise as possible. But we touched today on the updates when it comes to the Cardano Foundation and their delegation, the launch of the official Cardano Summit 2023 application, Atrium and their staking baskets, some of the fake tokens that we're trying to bring awareness surrounding Ada Whale and Rick McCracken, the launch of the Genius Seal Testnet, Dex Hunter, and Levvy Finance. As always, if you guys learned anything along the way, I would appreciate you if you could tap that like button. If it's your first time stopping by the channel and you want more content like this surrounding the top builders on Cardano, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions for me surrounding anything we've touched on as a part of today's video, then as always, make sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below. That said, I will see you guys in the next video.